Not another piece of damaged plywood siding. Well, whenever I tear into something, I like to try and figure out what caused the damage. Now, in this case, it was because they actually caulked. They put silicone sealant, caulking, on the bottom of the siding because they were having problems with moisture leaking into the house. Now, that only made matters worse than they were originally. So what we're going to do is look at the paper, the building paper that is surrounding the wood framing. Now, the hole that's there obviously wasn't there. When we pulled the plywood off, we ripped some of the paper off. But the paper here is actually roofing paper, and it should have been building paper. Roofing paper works, and it'll work fine, but you need to run it horizontally. This building paper was actually ran vertically, which is a no-no. So horizontally, and then lap them correctly. Vertical doesn't work. But what caused the damage? What is the culprit? I would imagine that it was a combination of a few things. Water actually leaking from the bottom of the siding because it didn't lap over the foundation. It was even with the bottom of the framing plate or the top of the foundation. And this allowed plenty of water to seep into the house. But I would like to point something out. There is rust around this staple, and that tells us whenever we find rusted or corroded nail staple screws, that tells us that moisture was there. And I just wanted to provide you guys with another method or thing to look out for whenever you're tearing into something and trying to figure out just how bad the damage was. In this case, I was trying to figure out how far up the damage actually traveled, or if there were any signs showing where water would have been leaking into the building. But whenever you see a rusted staple like this, it tells you that there has been moisture here, but right up above it, the staple is perfectly fine. However, my forensic activity has brought me to the conclusion that most of the damage was caused from the bottom of the siding. There was very little water leaking around the outside of the building paper or in back of the wood siding. Most of the damage came from the silicone caulking that wasn't letting any moisture leave, that actually got caught in between the siding. So by sealing off the bottom of the siding, any moisture that would have landed on top of that corner pier, that concrete pier in the corner that's raised a little higher than the foundation, all that was water would leak into there and then go behind the siding and in front of the paper, the roofing paper, and then work its way down. It would just leak continually all the way across to the sliding glass door, eventually causing the plywood siding damage.